New journalism is an age of American journalism that took place in the 1960s and the 1970s that pushed and expanded the boundaries and limits of traditional journalism as well as nonfiction writing. So new journalism is kind of combining journalistic research with fictional writing techniques and using those to cover real events. This style of journalism produced titles such as nonfiction novels or narrative techniques of fiction. New journalistic writers, their work started debates about how far a nonfiction novel could go before it violated the journalist's commitment to the truth and facts. Criticizers felt that nonfiction novels disregarded objectivity and that threatened the credibility for all journalism. They felt that authors might stretch the truth for dramatic effect or blend real characters into one person in their novel, rearrange events, or add dialogue. Overall, new journalism helped start debate over the definition of kind of the nature of truth and objectivity and how far a writer could go before they violated the commitments to such things.
In this golden age of journalism, there were many famous journalists during this time. The two most famous journalists during this time were Tom Rolfe and Gail Talese. Tom Rolfe experimented with 4 literary devices that were not normally associated with feature writing. They were scene-by-scene construction, extensive dialogue, multiple points of view, and detailed description of one's status of life symbols. He called this unfamiliar style new journalism. His most famous book was The Electric Kool-Aid Test. Gail Talese was a famous magazine reporter during the 1960s. His most famous piece was Frank Sinatra Has a Cold, and it was one of the most influential American magazine articles of all time. This work was a pioneering example of new journalism and creative nonfiction. He had brilliant structure and pacing in the article, which focused not only on Sinatra himself, but also Gail Talese's pursuit of the subject. Articles in the new journalism era tended not to be found in newspapers, but rather in magazines. The first person to start the era of new journalism, however, was William Thomas Stead. He started investigative journalism and was a very important contributor to the evolution of today's popular journalism. His most famous work was The Maiden Tribute of the Modern Babylon. He, however, sadly passed away on the Titanic.